taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about that? What about?
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. This woman helped me get...
It's a trap!
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap!
The question, how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
Well, hello, and how is your Friday the 13th, boys and girls? It is Halloween month and Friday the 13th in the same month. So this is one of those years. All the bad shit's happening. Looks like we're going to be in World War III soon. It's all fucked up. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. You're going to be entertained and informed and maybe insulted. You never know. But anyway, Kevin is frantically trying to get into the room. So before I let him in, I'm going to say hello to Michael and Raj, and Peggy and Steve, who's not really Steve, but I forgot his real name already. You know how it is. And Michelle's here. Lots of people are here. The normal folks are here. Our Aussie crew has not been around for a while. I don't know what's going on. I think Kevin scared off Bruni and all of our friends from down under. Tom is not even coming around anymore. I know it's Jason. It's Friday the 13th, though. So anyway, hey, Kevin's here though. Let's go ahead.
What? Janice is not feeling well, so you better behave yourself.
I'm always very well behaved. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Keep my name out of your mouth.
Toasty's here as well. I forgot to say hello to Toasty Cheese. He's here.
I'm not enjoying this at all here.
You're not enjoying this? What you got
this light bullshit.
Your Yoko Ono husband picture in the background there?
Suddenly have this. It's a new computer. It's $300 at Walmart, right? So whatever. It's got a little app and it says, "We would like to brighten your app for your account." What the fuck is that about?
Say no. Leave it be.
Why do they want to make my choices for me, Patrick? I don't like.
I'm with all of these companies like investing into AI. We did the AI GPT like months ago. I showed you guys AI GPT.
Yes.
Everything. They're just looking for more ways to control you, Kevin.
You to fucking do what you were told. Like that.
They're just looking for more ways to control Kev.
Well, on the other hand, my grandson saw a 32 Roadster on the parking lot yesterday, and he said, "Grandpa, I'd like you to get one of those." I said, "Me too." So,
you should have said, "Well, I had one when they were brand new."
Yeah, I borrowed Ed's. I've never been in one. I don't know what they're like, but they look pretty. And he was intrigued, in fact. He's going to be 5 next Saturday. 5. That's 1 plus 4 more.
Let's see.
You got a pretty big docket tonight, don't you?
I'm opening.
Don't be fucking around. Don't. I'm in no mood for you.
You're in no mood. Let's see.
Michelle.
It says that I just asked in the chat GPT, who is Kevin Crowley? And it said, I don't know anything about that guy.
Well, that's how I like it. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. Let's see if it knows who I am.
As much time as you spend on there, I don't know. Oh, you're not going to repeat that, are you?
Yeah.
Tap, tap, tap. This is incorrect. Tap, tap, tap. You need to update your system. Tap, tap, tap. This is slander.
Oh, let's see.
Where's my camera?
It doesn't know who hashtag Son of Liberty Radio is either. That's so sad.
There we go. That's better.
Doesn't even know who we are.
Well, we're the number one show right now on. It's just
the number one vaping show on at this moment.
That's
until
there you go.
Until somebody else comes on.
Well, probably.
Yeah. So Kev.
What?
I got to open up the tweets or the X. I have to go to the X.
And before you go any further, the answer is yes, we do have Netflix, and the answer is no, I did not watch it. And I don't. I'm not going. Well, I did watch the first episode of it. Nope.
And the moment that Stanton Glantz came on screen, I turned it off.
Well, there you go. All right, then I saved my time for.
But then I read Dimitri's sort of breakdown of the show, and from what I saw and what he's saying, I think it I see a lot of vapey people who apparently watched it and didn't see the critical bits that I saw apparently.
Right.
But I wasn't. I think they sort of held up certain people.
Okay.
One of the Pave Mommies was on there, and her boy was on there. And well, I mean, Greg was on there, but the part that I watched was Greg just talking about Juul. So I didn't find anything worth watching in the first episode. I switched it over to The Fall of the House of Usher, which is a much better miniseries. And
I don't like you or follow your advice, but I will in this case. I still don't like you. Just
Peggy says you got to watch it.
Or read the book. I'll read the book. I like books.
But yeah, the moment I saw Stan Glantz on there, I was like, pfft. And then I saw the Pave Mommy on there. Like,
well,
yeah. But now, later on we'll talk about that. Florida is getting on the Juul train, but we'll talk about that later. I don't want to say bad things about Florida at the beginning of the show.
By the way, I saw something. Nick's like on a boat looking for alligators or something. Hydrate, people. It's good for you. Don't drown. Just a little at a time.
It's not that hard to find them here in Texas.
We had a bobcat here. Yeah, bobcat. Yeah.
We get coyotes. Armadillos. Skunks. Gators.
Oh yeah, we got
rattlesnakes.
There are state animals, it seems.
Rattlesnakes. All right, let me go over here to this damn show notes that Addie's telling me to move the show along by typing in the word show notes.
What?
Yeah, he's already started.
Had real, I don't like this structure anyway. I'm not real fond of structure. Because right there, where's it at? There we go.
You will not comply.
I'm barely able, even with my own wife.
So we got this little short video that's been bouncing around on multiple Twitters today or yesterday. So I'm going to show it in full. In full,
I didn't know there was a
full
book.
screen. Full screen. Here we go, Kat. Let's watch this.
Hey,
it's
you
only
hear
12
me?
seconds long.
Wait, before you, can you hear me fine?
Yes.
No troubles?
No.
I didn't even plug in my mic yet. Wow. Okay.
You're using the camera mic then. Switch it over to the better one because I can hear the.
Okay. I'll do that while you peruse your.
All right. Let's play this. Let's play this video that is sort of secondary, but it all right. Here we go. Well, come on, old man, don't hurt yourself.
And I'll say that for any smoker in my life, I tell them quit smoking traditional cigarettes now and switch to vaping if it helps you quit. That is my position on this. The fact that we haven't had clear messaging in this country, I think actually literally kills people.
So that was on CBS this morning. This is Tony somebody who is one of the folks on the CBS This Morning show.
You know,
were you whistling at him for some? I mean, he's not a bad looking man, but I'm just
I was just testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Now, I like that sound bite, and that should just be played over and over at any opportune time.
Yeah, but he's. I guarantee you, in like a week, he's going to come out on the CBS. Last week I said something about vaping, but I really should walk that back a little bit, because our ad sponsors or our all of our ad people are telling me that I misspoke.
About what?
Well, that's the thing is that he what he said was true, but because the marketing people can't, Pfizer's dropping out of some of their ad buys, they have to, you watch, he's gonna take that back, even though he said this is just my personal opinion, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah. But it is awesome. It is a great soundbite, and I did add it to the permanent show roll, so it will be one of the random videos that gets selected and played during the opening of or closing of the show.
In the tweet that I thanked him and highlighted over somebody's tweet, I was going to say, boy, I've been waiting 10 years to hear this, all that bullshit, and I just thanked him instead. But yeah, that's first time I've heard it on mainstream Good Morning America type media.
Yeah, but he's just he's just a not even a journalist. I wouldn't even call him a journalist, but he's just one of those people that are on TV.
True.
So yeah, I mean, but
I don't know. It was a fun little clip. That's all.
Yeah, I did find this one kind of funny that you sent me via Juka.
I don't know which one. Which one is that?
This one. I kind of.
I send you shit and I just forget it. It just goes out of my head.
So it says CDC study on depression and mortality finds that wealth, smoking, and exercise reduce the risk of death.
Just a minute. Good evening, Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
They're not to be a dick, Ron, but more people are hanging out over in the YouTube. There's a link right there on the Facebook. If you just wanna, but you can, I'm just saying.
But Mr. Marshall, look.
But this says the CDC. The CDC is studying depression and mortality, and they find that people that have money, people that reduce stress by smoking, and people that exercise, they all live longer lives. How is that?
Can you imagine when I read? Will you stop it? When you got it, did you read it the same way I did? What?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this ought to be fun to read because I didn't read it yet, Kev. I just read the headline.
Oh, this is fresh. This is why we're the number one show, by the way.
This is a live reading of this piece, and we're gonna experience it together. Now, Kevin probably didn't read it either, but he's gonna say he did. He just read the headline.
Yeah, I read the headline.
I'm gonna. So the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention researchers in Atlanta have examined the association between depressive symptoms and mortality in a large, diverse, nationally representative sample of U.S. adults. In a paper, Depressive Symptoms and Mortality Among U.S. Adults, published in the JAMA Network Open, the CDC, that sounds like a tennis tournament. The JAMA Network Open, live from Wimbledon. The CDC team found a higher risk of all-cause cardiovascular disease and ischemic heart disease mortality among adults with moderate to severe depressive symptoms compared to those without depressive symptoms. The study utilized data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, the NHANES, from 2005 to 2018, which included 23,694 participants aged 20 and older. The average age was 44.7 years old. Depressive symptoms were assessed using the Patient Health Questionnaire number 9, PHQ-9, a validated screening instrument for measuring depressive symptoms. The cohort's characteristics included education, marital status, poverty to income ratio, health insurance, family history of cardiovascular disease. Hello, homicidal. Chronic kidney disease, antidepressant, and use of alcohol consumption. The NHANES data set was, is it data or data? Data or data, Kevin?
Whichever you prefer.
No. The NHANES data set was cross-referenced with the National Death Index. Now, that just sounds like a really awesome band. The National Death Index. Friday at the Coliseum.
Whoa. Have you been drinking again?
No, I haven't. I am on Vicodin, though.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so the National Death Index through 2019 to track mortality outcomes. Mild depressive symptoms were found in 14.9% of participants, while moderate to severe depressive symptoms were seen in 7.2%. I'm probably in that 7.2%. That's why
I'm playing with my other friend while you read.
That's why I take the Vicodin. Anyway, for all cause mortality, the adjusted base model found mild depressive symptoms were associated with a hazard ratio of 1.42% or 1.42, no percent, compared to those with no depressive symptoms, while moderate to severe depressive symptoms had a hazard ratio of 1.78%. For cardiovascular disease mortality, the overall hazard ratios were blah, blah, blah. So I'm all right. Now I'm just going to skip down here to, we already know that poor people die faster. I mean, that's what this is saying right here, right there. So lifestyle factors like smoking, physical activity, and sleep health were identified as important mediators of the association between depressive symptoms and mortality. The associations were largely, what the hell are you doing, Kev? Largely consistent across several subgroups. So what they're saying is that people that smoke, do physical activity, and sleep good have lower depressive rates than people that don't do these things.
Yeah. Can you imagine the outcry if this was like real news?
Yeah. So smoking, I don't care what anybody says, makes you happier. Obviously, it reduces the symptoms of your depression. It is a neural stimulant, an agent for mental focus. And
plus, it pisses people off, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, it does. But so does this. I mean, people are now being horrified if they see you walking across the parking lot outside and you take a toot. They give you one of these.
You sons of bitches.
How dare you?
Ugh.
I need to get that Greta. I need to get a Greta thing of her saying, "How dare you?" Oh, speaking of Greta Thunberg, and
Stop.
how dare you? Did you see this
Stop.
week that Bill Gates? There's video of Bill Gates basically saying that they've overblown the climate crisis.
No.
Did you see that? Like, he's one of the primary. There's video of him like on the Twitters where he basically says,
I'm going to quote George Carlin best I can. The earth is and will be fine. The people are fucked.
well,
I think that's how he said it.
I mean, he basically said that no city is going to get flooded. No, that no temperate, no.
Thank goodness
no,
for that, because
nobody that lives in the temperate zones are going to be affected by global warming anytime soon. That it's overblown. They don't have any science to stand up to confirm all the shit that they've been saying. Of course, Kevin, I have to couch this. Of course, pollution is bad.
well, yeah,
Of course, it's bad, and of course, it's probably not great for the environment. And yes, over 10,000 years, it's going to get even worse. And of course, we need to do things that we can do realistically to reduce that. However, trying to force everybody by the year 2030 to buying an electric car that costs 4 times the cost of their gas burner car, that's not a realistic. That's not a realistic way to. That's like telling everybody, "Hey, Kevin, all you people that smoke, starting tomorrow, cigarettes will be illegal in this country, and you cannot have them. So you're just going to have to go cold turkey."
You know,
there will be no cigarettes in any convenience stores or grocery stores. They're gone. You're just going to have to suffer. I mean, that's what telling everybody that they have to go to an electric vehicle by 2030 is. It is them trying to enforce a systemic change over a very short amount of time. It's not going to work.
Right.
Not that I wanted to stop talking about depression and cigarettes, and that cigarettes help people with depression. We're going to go right back. So, not highlighted in the CDC study and unlikely to be recommended, smoking caused the most significant reduction in mortality from all causes in both mild and moderate to severe depression groups compared to base model. That's a big difference. This was followed closely by physical activity. So smoking is better for your depression and your early, punching out early compared to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might die of lung cancer, but you're not going to die of depression.
No.
I don't want to be on here promoting cigarette smoke. I mean, of course we don't want people to smoke because it will kill you in a different way. It'll take longer.
I want to promote personal choice. That's all.
Yeah. The study suggests that addressing depressive symptoms and associated risk factors could be important for reducing the burden of depression and its impact on mortality. Now, Kevin, that is like the most water is wet thing that I've ever read.
It is wet. I can confirm that.
I mean, this study suggests that addressing depressive symptoms and associated risk factors could be important for reducing the burden of depression and its impact on mortality. Duh.
Well, the more you know.
I wonder. We're going to go up here. There's a link. There's a hyperlink somewhere on this, I think.
Yeah, there's a link. Or there was a link.
I don't know.
Sometimes they move them around.
Oh, fuck you. I'll find it myself. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Screw you.
That's right. Be ungovernable.
I need an ad blocker. Somebody buy me an ad blocker, Kevin.
It kind of shocked me that, well, Juke obviously tweeted it, but to go into and read, and I was like, what? what?
Huh?
They actually what?
All right, now let's
Things they
share
don't
this
want you to
tab.
know.
All right, so this is the study. It was just published on the 9th.
They'll squash it. They'll squash it
fresh.
eventually. You know they will.
This is fresh and new. Now I want to go. I want to go down. I mean, obviously there's NIH money in this because it's also published on the NIH website, Kevin. So
right.
So I want to scroll down and see where it says if it says anything about funding.
I didn't look.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
what?
The U.S. CDC paid for this.
Well, there you go. Well, how come we haven't had a big, hoo-ha-ha on Good Morning America? Because we're the number one show right this minute.
It is not even a partial. This was funded by, not even a partial.
So what you're saying is,
our tax money paid for this, and our organizations, that paid for this with our tax dollars should be screaming this from the rafters, Kev.
Well, let me ask you a silly question, Patrick, because I'm full of those. What happens to people's mental health when they're told you should quit smoking? Really, you should quit smoking. You should try harder.
Well, my mental health would be like, don't fucking talk and tell me what to do.
Why haven't you quit smoking? We're going to have to part ways if you don't stop smoking. In fact, you're not going to be able to hold this job if you smoke anymore. In fact, you're not going to be able to get a new job anymore because if you smoke, oh wait, you can do drugs and drink and do all that, but you can't be a smoker. You evil bastard smoker. What happens to those people who can't afford to get on Twitter and look at bullshit stories?
So you brought up something.
All right, that's fine.
Now, you brought up something that I need to, if you ever want to hear about shenanigans that are occurring in our governmental system, then you will definitely want to go to the Rumble at the end of the show because there's something we're going to talk about that goes directly to what Kevin was just saying about people who can't say no, people that
are unable, that cannot speak for themselves,
or not allowed to speak for themselves. Kevin, I can't say it here. But on the Rumble.
So what we've shown you tonight, folks, is that they want you to quit smoking, but they know that it also can help with depression.
So I'm literally right now putting the link to the Rumble in the YouTube for all the people that say later on, I don't know how to find it. I'm putting it in I'm putting it in there right now.
Look, you scared Mr. Marshall away. You scared the man away. I haven't seen him.
He's a big, strong man. He's not afraid of me.
He's not afraid of me.
He ain't afraid of me.
He ain't afraid of you.
He's not afeared. Now, everybody's been really talking really bad about the Texas law that passed recently about sending kids to the alternative education school if they get caught vaping. So Alabama said, hold my beer.
Where your wife and your sister are. Never mind.
Now I know some really good people from Alabama. I'm not going to say that they're fucking their wife. Their wife is their sister.
People.
I don't want you. I'm from West Virginia. There's enough of that going on. All right. So it says here, Alabama County implements e-cigarette court to punish student use. Now I'm going to put on my Southern accent for this one.
Oh, good.
Because
confound it.
Did you see? Look at that. Do you see Paul? Paul showed up after being gone for like 8 months.
He just realized we're the #1 show on at the moment.
Well, that's
probably why.
According to the National News Report on October 10th, the state of Alabama has established a unique e-cigarette court in Calhoun County in order to discipline students who use e-cigarettes within the school. This move aims to enhance the penalties for students caught using an e-cigarette on campus. In the state of Alabama, schools have invested in e-cigarette detectors worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to monitor students who secretly use e-cigarettes in restrooms and changing rooms. Now, I got a question. I got to stop this, Kevin.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
How many schools have changing rooms? I mean, isn't that where you like change a baby's diaper? Isn't that a change?
I also did think that, so I don't want to make you feel stupid, but I think they are referring to like football players,
like locker rooms.
Yeah. I think that's what they call them there in Alabama.
I went to school in Mississippi. We called them locker rooms. We didn't. I mean, they're right next door. I mean, they're hugging each other back to back there. I mean,
it's so close, in fact, that a teacher could peer in and ogle at you, in my opinion.
Well, when I was a teenage boy, I would have ran naked across campus. I wasn't bashful. In addition to facing disciplinary actions within the school premises, such as alternative school or suspensions, these students will now receive a citation and be sent to the county's e-cigarette court. The e-cigarette court is established based on Alabama state law that stipulates that individuals under the age of 21 found in possession of e-cigarette products may receive tickets and fines from $10 to $50. Now, these kids will buy Xbox and PlayStation games that are $100. Do you think they're batting an eye at a $10 to $50 fine?
Can they go to a pawn shop underage? I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. According to the regulations in Calhoun County, students can complete the project requirements within 2 months, will not be required to pay fines or appear in court. As stated in the student handbook, failure to meet the deadline may result in hefty court fees ranging from $350 to $500. In accordance with the policy issued by the Calhoun County Board of Education, repeated violations for the third and fourth time may lead to fines and additional expenses. What are you laughing about, Kevin?
I'm just thinking this is as silly as can be. But I think it should be $5,000.
This is Alabama. I mean, they'd have to go to their wife, cousin, sister and borrow money.
See, now I said it. Now you said something. Now you just cut it out.
Well, I'm getting into character now with.
I know.
I'm one of those method actors. I got to get method
over yonder.
I say over yonder. What?
I know you do.
Legal experts, however, often argue that e-cigarette usage in school premises should be addressed through internal disciplinary measures rather than resorting to the courts. They believe that involved in the legal system could potentially have negative psychological effects on the students, in some cases result in fines or even criminal records, or even in the case of the boy last week, I'm losing the accent for a minute, that offed himself because he got caught with a vape at school.
Up to and including death. Yes.
Yes.
So as we joke, it's not funny.
No. Kay Bell, director of the Juvenile Probation Office in Calhoun County, has announced that a program set to launch in 2021 this is 2023, appears to be effectively addressing the issue of e-cigarette use in schools. In the first year, we had 126. In the second year, there was a decrease by 27%, said Bale. In fact, our success rate is quite high. If they have any issues, they can call us and we can provide assistance. Following the success of the Calhoun County case, Kosciuszko County, there's a Kosciuszko in Mississippi too. Kosciuszko County and nearby Marshall County in central rural Alabama have made the decision to crack down on the prevalence of e-cigarette on school campuses with implementing strict measures.
Yeah.
Schools and judges have expressed significant concerns regarding the implementation of e-cigarette regulations. Some legal experts fear that enforcing such regulations may result in young students being fined, or for some underage, it could even lead to a criminal record. That hasn't affected you though, Kevin, right? Your
I see here, Johnny, that you're interested in a position with us, but I'm going to have to deny your application because you once vaped and had to go to court.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry,
Patrick
but you
over
can't
there
get
is
in.
more qualified.
You can't get into Harvard because you got a misdemeanor here.
I got a silly ass question. This is number 2 already, and we're only 20 minutes in. How much did you say they paid? Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
To detect something that's not legal to access and possess. Could they have spent that money to stop the access?
Well, if they'd have given their teachers $1 more an hour and said,
Right.
"Hey, with that $1, that means that in between classes you got to go peep don't go peeking under the stalls now." Just open the bathroom door. Just open the bathroom door and look in, see if anybody's, puffing on something.
I just don't understand. So access and enforcement and compliance are not a concern for anybody in the country. None. Zero.
I mean, they got these little tags now that you can buy and put on things that are like little location tags.
Yeah.
Like you can track where shit is.
Yeah.
So if they gave each classroom one of those things on a piece of wood or something and said, "This is your hall pass."
Yeah.
Teachers could look on an app and make sure that little Timmy or little Susie went to the bathroom. They'd be able to track how long they'd been in there.
Ain't got no gas in it. I don't.
Without having to go,
that's big.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars on vape detectors. Now, I know we did a story about 6 months ago in here, Kevin, where we were talking about how much money they had spent in Houston on vape detectors. And Houston's a city, it's not a state, but Houston spent like $4 million.
Oh, $4 million. I thought it was $500,000.
No.
Okay. $4 million.
On their vape detector camera setups for the entire area. Now, Houston is a big ass city. It's one of the top 10 biggest cities in the United States.
I'm going to stop.
Wrong. I'm just saying, compared to Alabama, which is a whole state.
Now, Patrick just said, and if you were paying attention, he said cameras. Technically, they are not cameras, but they will be and can be and probably will be within reason.
The company that makes the sensors,
yes,
did buy a camera company that was already installing cameras at the doors of restrooms.
Steve, yes, cameras, children, think. You fuckers,
they ain't gonna have no pig in the school to tie it to, Jason. Now I don't know how hillbilly they are in Oklahoma. Well, he's from Oklahoma. They might have pigs wandering the hallway in Oklahoma. That they might be able to tie that tractor.
Whose is that? But they need to put that thing back in its paper. What is it? Or are we Alabama? Is this where this is?
This is Alabama.
Arkansas, Alabama, yeah,
Alabama.
Now, I got 2 points to make. Children shouldn't vape. Should they smoke? Anyway.
Well, I think kids are going to do what kids are going to do, Kevin.
There you go.
And
who's
I don't
responsible for anybody under 18? Who is the responsible party?
Well, not anymore. It used to be mommy and daddy.
It's the teachers and the courts.
Now apparently, every other
Right.
adult on the planet is more responsible for your kid than you are. Is the way
Well.
you know.
Well,
you know what I'm saying,
what's her Meredith hasn't come over to grandchild my
now.
Grandchild.
I will say that there are a lot of kids out there these days that only have one parent.
I understand
that. I do get that.
Yes.
And not everybody can have a mom and a dad.
Well,
even like when I was a kid, my mom and dad didn't get divorced until after we were gone out of the house. They couldn't stand each other, but they stayed married long enough to get us out of the house. Then they
Because of
went
you.
their separate ways.
That's what's your fault.
Dude, I graduated from high school and was gone.
Gone, me too. Yeah. So
now they stayed together another 2 years. Now my older brother was still residing in the family home.
okay.
So
well, you had to keep
I'm
up
going to say
appearances.
that it
I
was
get
that
it.
guy's job.
My parents did it too, and I told them both they were both nuts. They should not have. But it was for you. Well, look what you've done to yourselves. That's not my problem.
See how fucked up I am?
My mother told me once I was an asshole, and I said, well, you raised me, so what do you have to say?
I am what you made me.
She had a mouth on that woman too. I couldn't understand.
I had to walk around in this house for 4 years during high school on eggshells because you guys couldn't stand each other.
That's right.
Yeah. So taking various factors into consideration, it is imperative to prioritize the regulation of e-cigarettes. The effectiveness of off-campus courts in addressing this issue has its limitations. Mommy and daddy, do your job. Or y'all cousins, y'all whatever. The ambiguity surrounding the use of e-cigarettes in the ruling is also a concern, according to Leah Nelson, a research director at the progressive policy organization Appleseed. Never heard of them before. The e-cigarette ban is not helping children avoid any problems. Instead, it's creating a fast track from schools to prison for those engaging in unauthorized activities in Cowman County. Increase the pressure of taxation and regulations on e-liquid to discourage cigarette use. Increase the pressure of taxation and regulation on e-cigarette liquid to discourage cigarette use.
That's
allowing students and parents to bid farewell to e-cigarettes through progressive.
Took you a minute,
Now, Bama. If you tax e-cigarettes, it ain't going to discourage cigarette use.
Well,
just saying.
Just in case.
According to Judge Chad Floyd of Cowman County, the effectiveness of the program lies in its ability to convey a message. Underage e-cigarette use is a serious criminal offense that can have genuine health consequences.
Point taken, Paul. What genuine health consequences are those, Judge?
Well, if you get arrested and you get punished by time in jail,
well, if you get
the health of your teenage rectum is going to be in trouble because Bubba, your cellmate, is going to
infect what are you in here for, boy?
With the AIDS virus.
Vaping.
Because we know that the HIV is very high in prison. I'm just saying, And they don't have the money that Magic Johnson had.
That too.
Magic Johnson, he cured his AIDS, but they just put money in a blender to cure him. There's actually a South Park episode where they showed that's how Magic, by blending money up and just injecting it into his body, and that's what cured his AIDS.
Oh,
yeah.
See, no.
Now, Kev,
Steve, what?
Now,
what are you talking to me for?
His name's not Steve. His name is Jason.
It said Steve. I can't see it otherwise.
It says Jason. Every time you see Steve now, just think of Friday the 13th, and you'll think of Jason.
My goodness.
Are you ready?
Yeah. What are you gonna do for a strawberry cheesecake vape, boy? All right, go on.
Now, that everybody that has ever been affiliated with Smoke-Free World,
yes,
has been attacked for taking money from Big Tobacco.
Yes,
and, insulted. Called shills and all that stuff. So this week, one of our I call him a good friend, but he won't come on the show.
Yeah, maybe he will now. I don't know. Let him know it's the #1 show on Friday
he-
nights. For
I
5
think
minutes.
he's above coming onto a show where the host will break down into Alabama Southern accent to read an article from Alabama.
I admired it.
Yeah, well. So our very good friend, C. Doug.
Yeah.
C. Doug, that's Clifford E. Douglas, was announced on October 12th. On October 12th, that Clifford, the big red dog. Oh no, C. Doug. The Foundation for a Smoke-Free World has named Clifford E. Douglas as president and CEO.
I find this intriguing. This one I'm going to use that word for.
Intriguing. Well, I mean, Cliff apparently is able to realize that just because some money was given doesn't mean that the work the organization does has to be tainted by that.
There you go.
So Doug,
I'm looking forward to it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for all the, the attacks to start. Douglas has most recently served as director of the University of Michigan Tobacco Research Network and as adjunct professor in the Department of Health Management and Policy at the University of Michigan School of Public Health. Prior to that, he was the American Cancer Society Vice President for Tobacco Control. Early in his career, Douglas worked to eliminate smoking on airline flights and was an attorney and advisor in landmark lawsuits against tobacco manufacturers. Douglas has also managed a $6 million campaign to eliminate smoking on college campuses and worked to help Americans understand the relationship between smoking and COVID-19. Douglas has served as the assistant director of the Coalition of Smoking and Health and was also the assistant director of the American Lung Association National Public Affairs Office and has been the tobacco control advisor to the United States Assistant Secretary of Health and the U.S. Surgeon General. Pam Parizek, chair of the Foundation Board of Directors, said, For decades, Clifford Douglas has been a strong and influential member or voice in the work to eliminate smoking in America and globally. He understands both the science and societal elements of tobacco issues. His credentials are exceptional, and we are pleased he will lead our foundation effort to fund meaningful research and engage in evidence-based education efforts that help those at greatest risk to stop smoking. The foundation is a nonprofit independent grant-making organization dedicated to ending the illness and disease caused by smoking, which remains the leading preventable cause of death around the world. Its charitable mission is to accelerate the decline in smoking and the harm it causes everywhere. Douglas says the foundation is uniquely positioned to reduce smoking globally. Our mission is to help end smoking in this generation. I've committed myself to this mission for 35 years and look forward to leading this organization in innovative and impactful efforts to accelerate reductions in smoking prevalence and improve public understanding regarding the nature and health impact of nicotine. And as the U.S. FDA has highlighted the continuum of risk among different tobacco and nicotine products, we will continue to be a strong and intimate voice in helping people around the world find healthier choices. Parizek said the foundation is about to enter a new era under the leadership of Cliff Douglas. We certainly are appreciative of those who have previously supported our work, and going forward, the foundation remains fully committed to smoking cessation and tobacco harm reduction efforts around the world. Philip Morris International recently made a final grant to the foundation, and the pledge agreement between Philip Morris and foundation has concluded. Parizek added, moving forward, the foundation will seek to collaborate with associations and institutions to accelerate our investment in life-saving research projects based on the most up-to-date science.
They've been out 5 years. I don't know when
Since 2017. Since 2017.
Okay.
So there. So our very good friend C. Doug C. Doug has a job.
Dr. Gardner was his before him, right?
Huh?
Charlie was
no.
I forget who was.
Charlie
in
was with
that.
Inco.
I thought he was also with Smoke Free.
No, he might have been
he was
years ago, but he was never the CEO.
No. I thought he was
Swim Daily. What's his name?
Derek.
Derek Yak.
Yeah.
How is it that I remember everybody's Twitter handles and not their real names?
I don't know.
That is sad.
I confuse the two.
But yes, at C. Doug is Clifford, and at Swim Daily is Derek Yak.
I won't go into detail, but what I know of C. Doug, Mr. Douglas, is that at one time he towed the line, and now he is towing the truth. I guess that we'll go that way. That's my opinion.
Well, no, he realized that constantly pushing the no, was getting nowhere.
That's an eloquent way to put it.
He wrote a manifesto, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
That said that tobacco control had their head in the sand and that they needed to realize that constantly saying no was not a solution to the problem, that they needed to open their ears and listen and invite other opinions than no. I mean, that's a very simplified version of his 8-page letter that he wrote.
That's correct.
And then obviously when the SRNT 15 came out, they wrote another stop saying no because just say no doesn't work. Yeah. Let's listen to let's meet them where they are.
It's ironic that they tell smokers that you should learn from your mistakes and other people, but they haven't until literally recently, past couple of years, 3 years.
Right.
Some.
Right.
So
Kev, I skipped out on like the intro. What did you do this week? How was your?
I'm planning on buying a whatever those things that Logan liked, the 32 tea bucket or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna
no, hell no. It'll be about this big.
Hot Wheels makes some really nice.
Just planning a birthday party and trying to keep. I had him 3 days this week though, briefly on a couple of them, but it's all right.
I went outside. There was a delivery. I had ordered 2 books. It was a box set of books, Kevin.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were going to be delivered. And I mean, it's a geeky thing. They're
I expect no less.
They're based on like an anime sort of thing. It's in Japan. They make comic books, but they also have what they call light novels.
Okay.
And this, like, if you're familiar with Vampire Hunter D,
nope.
There are like 40 novels in the Vampire Hunter D series. Now, this series was on American TV for a while. It's called Sword on Art Online, and it's it's like a sci-fi. They're stuck in a game sort of thing. And they have 20 plus novels in that series. So I ordered these 2 omnibuses of all 20 novels in 2 big volumes. So I bent down to pick them up. To pick up the box.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And the freaking box weighs like 40 pounds.
Right. You shouldn't be doing that.
It's 2 giant, huge books in a box set. And it weighs like 40 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know what it was because I was like, I don't have anything ordered that's this heavy. I had been contemplating. My wife is absconded with the second computer.
Is she? Good.
She's absconded with the second computer because she's taking her nurse practitioner classes. So I I was contemplating buying a replacement computer to go to broadcast location 2.
Yeah.
But since I can't stand up for 4 hours yet, because that's how long I would have to stand up for, I haven't done that yet. But I have found the replacement computer. It's awesome. It's gonna be great.
Stop keeping me in suspense. Did you blow your knee out?
No. The knee.
Dolly?
I mean, the knee is sore as hell. But I was not expecting this box to weigh that much. I mean,
That's what Logan weighs. He's 40.
I mean, here,
40 damn pounds. 40 pounds of a bundle of fun is what he is.
Yeah, this is the box with 2 books in it. I have to clean and jerk to get the thing up.
Listen, invest in a dolly. It does wonders. Just a little cheap ass.
It's like 12,000 pages or something. It's
two
crazy.
things. Once you hit 50, 2 things you need to have is those 2 or 3 step ladders that you find for like $30 at Lowe's.
I have I have a collapsible ladder that goes from 2 or 3 foot all the way to 10 foot. Yeah,
and a dolly. Now you don't have to
one of those too.
All right, so there you go. Now that's all I need to tell you. Once you hit 50,
when I was going to vape conventions and I had to carry the booth and all of the gear and the t-shirts and stuff, I bought a dolly then because I was driving to all these events and I had to pop the dolly out and I'd roll
I'm gonna
in
have to
with
get
all
Owl
the
to get
shit.
you. Don't be a dumbass band or what, because if you have a dolly, why did you go out there and go, ooh, this is too big? Should have brought the dolly. What are you doing?
I just thought it was going to be in 2 books.
And, I'll add a third addendum to that. Ratchet straps. I love those.
I don't have those.
Get off my lawn signs. Those are also helpful.
Yeah. So tonight's show.
What?
Tonight's show, I couldn't figure out what to call tonight's show, so I called it a ton of bricks. Ton of bricks.
I saw that.
Because apparently some British dude,
his
name is Wes Streeting.
Yeah.
He's criticizing the crazy nonsense that the PM said by saying it's not. Wes Streeting threatens to come down like a ton of bricks on the vaping industry.
Sure.
So he's the shadow health secretary. I don't know is he like part of the shadow government? I mean, what is this? Shadow health secretary says government is asleep as more children become addicted.
Well, how did they get him again?
This is the guy.
Is that
apparently this is the guy.
Never mind.
Look, he's a fucking ginger. Look at this, Kevin.
That's the lighting. Yes, Steve. Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. I have to go over to the bad side of town to get to the Harbor Freight, though.
I love Harbor Freight.
Yeah. It says labor, because the Labor Party. The labor will come down like a ton of bricks on the vaping industry if Rishi Sunak does not pull his finger out. Where's he saying his finger's in?
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for the trademark mark there. That's good. Thank you.
He's got to pull his finger out and introduce regulations, Wes Streeting has said. The shadow health secretary attacked the prime minister, saying he had been leading a government that has been asleep at the wheel as a generation of children become addicted to nicotine.
Tisk, tisk.
Interviewed by The Guardian's editor-in-chief, Catherine Viner, at the Labour Party's annual conference in Liverpool, Streeting shared stories from teachers concerned about pupils who were battling withdrawal from symptoms. What the hell? What?
Well, they're laying all over the ground now. They're almost on top of each other. Now, it's crazy.
I think these teachers have watched that Train Spotting one too many times. Or these kids are doing something else and they're saying that they're just vaping nicotine. I mean,
well,
I've seen.
What do you have there, boy? Is that heroin? Oh, thank God it's not a vape.
Damn.
Oh, as you were. Move on.
I mean, they're over there boofing like heroin. They're going through withdrawals.
Oh, that's
and the
where his
teachers-
finger went. Oh, okay.
See, it all comes around, Kevin. I'm just concerned that these kids are not getting the help that they need because they think that they're addicted to nicotine and they're not doing free-base cocaine or something.
Jesus Christ.
The vaping industry, which presented itself as the angel of stop smoking services with this lovely new gadget that you can breathe in that's much less harmful, they thought they were doing us a favor, and to an extent they were, until they started marketing their vapes in brightly colored packaging. In doing so, they addicted a generation of children to nicotine. Now, I guarantee you, Kevin, that
a
if you went up to this,
entails what?
If
a generation is millions of people of an age group from here to here.
Now,
So
look
they're all
at the
full of
expression on this man's face.
I think he's boofing something.
This is
Probably
the
a
expression of a man who hasn't gotten laid, Kevin.
Opinions expressed on this show.
I mean,
are
look
truthful.
at how wound up he is about this when they have, I mean, you have refugees. I just recently read an article on Paris, on London, and Sweden, where they have no-go zones for cops.
Huh?
Because they have been overwhelmed, and there's lawlessness in these zones.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the word, Kevin, because I don't want people to say that I'm being racist or anti-religious or whatever. There are people that live there that are unwilling to be subjected to the laws of the land that they live in.
Oh, isn't that like a 4-block radius or something?
No, it's even bigger now. There are 13 zones in Paris.
That must be what I'm.
The police are not, but there are also zones in London that are also no-go zones for the cops won't go there.
I've heard a clip of that somewhere.
Sweden, and there's a place. I just read it recently sometime today in my non-show stuff, but I was just like, what the fudge?
Yeah.
So you've got really big problems that you need to deal with. And this is the expression that you make about nicotine. Of course, kids should not be smoking. They should not be vaping. No. Let's get that through your head. But I guarantee you, if I offered this man a bright red Ferrari and said,
or no looking at him a lollipop.
Here's a Ferrari, a free bright red Ferrari that he's not gonna go, well, that car's only for kids because it's bright red. I guarantee you. We will not forgive or forget, because what I hear from teachers is that they are having to lock toilets in schools because kids are going off and vaping. Well, then that tells me that your fucking teachers are not doing their job.
And the law and the parents and
now as girls get older, Kevin, I've realized that their bladders all synchronize, and if two or more women are in a place, they all have to pee at the same time.
Yes, it's a law.
But
there's laws
in school, when they're school age, they haven't learned that yet.
Okay, I didn't know that. I know there's laws.
Children should not be allowed to go away from class where they're supposed to be learning in groups.
Unbeknownst to me, things like that have happened, I guess. Yeah, I've heard.
One at a time. Little Susie, you look like you're about ready to wet yourself. You go first. Little Timmy, after she comes back, you can get the hall pass, then you go. And y'all take turns going.
What is wrong with his hand?
I don't know. I mean, look at his eyes out of his head. I mean, he looks like maybe he's going through some sort of withdrawals too.
No more wire hangers in my ass, please. No more wire.
In a warning to the industry, Streeting said, Labor will ban the marketing, promotion, and the sale of vapes to children if this government doesn't pull its finger out and get on with it ahead of the general election. We will come down on the vaping industry like a ton of bricks. Now,
he's obsessed with a finger.
So he's saying that they will ban the marketing, promotion, and sale of vapes to children. As far as I know, in England, it's already illegal to sell a vape to somebody that's under the age of 18.
Oh,
Pretty sure that that's the law of the land in England.
Access, compliance, and enforcement thing again.
And they do have a specific law enforcement wing, trading standards, that goes around and does.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they have their own dedicated group of people that go around and enforce tobacco restrictions.
So is he saying they're not doing their job?
Apparently, they're not doing a good job. Is what I'm saying.
Huh.
Streeting also said plans by Rishi Sunak to stop the next generation of smoking were announced without crediting the New Zealand Labour Party, which first implemented the policy.
Yeah.
And speaking about the state of the NHS, Streeting repeated that the health service was not the envy of the world. Asked if Labour would be able to improve it, he said that he had tried to shake off some of the rose-tinted sentimentality about the health service because he wanted to be realistic. It's the paradox of the NHS. It's one of the greatest institutions this country has ever built. It's the closest thing we have. Sorry to the leader of my church, the Archbishop of Canterbury, but the closest thing we have to a national religion.
Oh, we got that in really nicely. That was good. I'm appreciative of that.
He's slamming the Anglican church.
Oh. So we got fingers, bathrooms, children, church.
Now, you should never say fingers and children in the same sentence, Kevin.
He's doing it, not me. I don't really fucking care.
So now he's dogging the NHS, who says that vaping, that people, he's dogging the church. He's dogging the prime minister of, I think it's prime minister, right? That's the title. So this guy says he's got the
I don't know nothing about them people across the pond except that they put the U's where they don't belong. Normally,
I think they're like their standard because I believe they're.
I love them.
You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Yeah, I'm an honorary Brit, by the way. So
no, I'm Irish.
Fleabag gave me an honorary Brit permit, if you will.
No. My grandmother, who was born in Ireland, my grandfather and grandmother both born in Ireland, would write a check every year to the IRA.
Oh, yeah. You told me that. That's crazy.
And later in life,
I love that.
After the peace accords had been supposedly settled, she would still write a check, and my aunt had to go and intercept it in the mailbox before it went out.
Oh shit! Wow.
But my grandmother had a little bit of Alzheimer's by the time she shouldn't have been writing checks anyway, but she remembered when it was time to write the check. So yeah,
that's what he had to do. Yeah,
got to do what you got to do.
See, you said we didn't have any Aussies in here, and then they come in. By the way, Paul, we've missed you.
One. Tom hasn't been here. Bruni's been absentee.
Oh, I think Big B's just trolling us. I don't know. Because sometimes we say his name and then he pops in.
There's somebody named Bantering Less over in the Rumble. It says there's 3 different people watching in the Rumble right now, Kevin. I mean, the Rumble, thank you for being on the Rumble if you're on the Rumble. But the best part is the last 20 minutes of the show when we only are on Rumble. That's the best part. Because I can say things over there that I can't say over here. And all these people that are over here won't come over there until, for some reason, they won't start over there.
By the way,
you could just start on the Rumble. You know, there are people that are only on the Rumble now. Just saying. If everybody would just go over there, then I wouldn't have to go over here.
Stop whining.
And since Elon won't monetize my tweet, my X, I can't only be on X. I would, but
well, we need Phil. I love that.
One of these days, we're going to sucker Phil into coming in here live, like on camera.
I would love to have Phil on here. I don't even know where I'd begin to start with him. He just scurries around.
I'm
He
surprised.
digs up stuff.
I mean, at his
He
age,
goes,
that he even knows how to watch the show, Kev.
I don't know. He didn't want to look at us ugly
But
asses anyway.
normally by now he would have tweeted at us or X at us.
X.
And I've just checked my notifications, and he has not.
I think he was the one that
posted
said
at
something
us
about
on X yet.
your kids are going to be kids till they're 30 now. I don't know if it was him for sure. And I don't think I sent that to you, but 30.
I don't know. I mean,
Age majority will be 30 now.
I was without adult
30.
supervision when I was 19 or 18. I graduated high school. Oh God,
I was like 13.
I was like, see y'all. Bye.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that.
At what age did you get your
I'd be
license?
out on my own, Kev.
16? Were you 16?
I didn't get my driver's license until after. No, my parents would not participate in me learning how to drive.
Right. Okay.
My mother took me driving one time when I was a teenager, and I made her piss her pants.
Yeah, that's
and
lovely.
she would never get in the car with me again.
Your poor mom.
So I didn't get my
be on
driver's
the show.
license until I was like 20. Yeah, they bought my brother a truck when he turned 15, 16. Fixed it up, spent tons of money on that thing. And when it came time for me, they were like, you're too crazy.
You're screwed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Too many of those, hey, y'all watch this circumstances.
I don't know where
jumping my dirt bike over the house and shit and landing on the roof. Those sorts of things.
Well, there you go. Did you do that? Nice.
I was known to doing some silly,
porta potties in class is a great idea. I love that.
Or are they just going to put a Foley in every kid when they come into school? Here's your Foley. in your rectal tube. They have those in the hospital, right? Just like, patients that are non-responsive in comas, they just, catch all their pee and their poop, and you just got to carry a shit bag and a pee bag around everywhere you go.
Speaking of nurses, the nurse went in. I don't often go in with Janice.
Speaking of hospitalizing kids.
Yeah. Oh, there is one.
What? That's your duty, man.
So I think we have a delay.
That's your duty.
I just leave her be to her own devices. So I went in because this is different, and we went in. And the nurse hasn't seen me in quite some time, and she said, "Well, how have you been?" I said, "I'm good, but I need you to make sure and leave my thoughts that she might be pregnant." And she laughed. And then the other nurse came in and she said, "Are you being seen as well?" And I said, "You wish." I don't think so. I didn't know they did like double date doctor stuff. So
that is your manly duty to attend your wife's doctor's appointments.
That's right, Cathamol. That's here, Johnny. You've been vaping. We're gonna put this in you.
Well, they say that they can. They're finding nicotine in kids' pee.
They have tests, mostly, and I don't have anybody catching on to this, but there's a website that went down, I guess, and another website that I found that you as a parent can get a pee test. It's like a pregnancy test, and it's a little stick thingy bobber, and you can test your kid for both, Patrick. It's very convenient, THC and nicotine. And I was like, huh. Well, I'll be darned.
Some of the stories that I've weeded through about how to talk to your kids about vaping.
Yeah.
One of the things was you should monetize them being obedient. Every week you test, or you give them a reward for not vaping or smoking. And if you don't trust your kids, here's a $10 kit you can buy to test whether or not they're telling you the truth.
I don't care either way you want to look at it.
I think those are all paid product placement, But anyway, it says here, my 12-year-old was put in a coma after vaping. I was terrified.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old was put in an induced coma after vaping caused damage to her lungs. Mary Griffin from Belfast, Ireland, shared that her daughter, Sarah, had a cough and didn't feel well before bed on a recent Sunday night. But the family wasn't initially alarmed, as they thought that the symptoms were caused by Sarah's asthma. Her cough was no different from any other time, and she used her inhaler and nebulizer through Sunday night and then Monday morning. At that point, Mary left the house to take her other children to school when Sarah called. Sarah rang and said, "Mummy, come back, Mummy. I don't feel well, I'm afraid." The mother said, recounting how she rushed home to get her daughter situated with her inhaler and nebulizer again, which seemed to settle her. A while later, she popped out to the shop quickly, and Sarah rang again, this time completely out of breath, barely able to string a sentence together, saying, "I need a doctor or to go to the hospital." Mary recalled, "Look at the little sloth doll, Kev."
Yeah. That's touching.
You see
Move
the
on.
sloth doll? That's pretty cute. Yeah. Sarah's dad immediately took her to Royal Victoria Hospital, where a nurse reported that Sarah's oxygen levels were concerningly low. Sarah was
wait a
just in a blind
Dad,
panic. She was
where-
terrified, Mary said.
Where did Dad come
What?
from all of a sudden?
Well,
He just popped in.
Dad apparently came home from work to take her to the hospital because Mom was too busy. She was on oxygen and was linked up to all sorts of machines. There were medical staff all around her assessing her, and they said she needed to go to ICU as she was deteriorating very quickly. When the doctor took an x-ray of Sarah's lungs, they realized how badly one of them had been injured, explaining that the other one was therefore working overtime to compensate, causing her asthma to flare up. To make matters worse, Sarah had developed an infection, which added to the stress put on her little body. When they got to the ICU, the team worked on Sarah for 4.5 hours before having to put her into an induced coma where there were tubes and wires and machines everywhere. It was heartbreaking to see her like that. As her mom, I just felt so helpless. It was a nightmare come true. Where I lost my spot. Mary had tried the situation, had to explain the situation to her other children and calm them down, but said that they were trying to explain to them what was happening was awful. They were asking if she was going to die, and I was saying, of course not. But in my mind, I was terrified that it was a real possibility her mother shared. I had to try and keep it together for them, but I was out of my mind with worry. I never thought something like this would happen to us. You never do. The 12-year-old was very unstable and connected to a room of machines breathing for her and keeping her alive as her body struggled to keep up. It was really hard for the doctors and nurses to find a balance for Sarah. If they got her oxygen levels sorted, her blood pressure would go down. If they got something else sorted, another one of her vitals would go in the wrong direction. It felt like one step forward, two steps back, and that went on for a few days. At first, we really didn't think Sarah would make it. She admitted, I'm still waiting for the punchline to say that she was vaping, Kevin.
Yeah, well.
The first time the doctors tried to bring Sarah out of the coma, the process failed and she had to be induced again. I had to help and hold Sarah's hands to try and settle her so the doctors could do what they needed to do. It was frightening. It was horrible to have to see Sarah so scared. The team tried to bring her out of the coma again the next day. As the doctors steadily revived her, the Griffin family finally began to regain hope that Sarah would be okay. The young girl came home several days later and was slowly been recovering through the ordeal, though the ordeal has left her with long-term impacts for her health. For the rest of her life, Sarah will be asked or classed as a high-risk patient if she is admitted to the hospital because of the effect this has had on her physically. Mary said, adding that her care has been transferred to the difficult-to-control asthma clinic at the Royal Belfast Hospital for Sick Children. Sarah has been very lethargic. Sarah's mom added she is usually full of energy, constantly talking and on the go, but she's still recovering and isn't back to her usual self yet. She has a long road ahead of her. The mother of four explained that the doctors warned her that if Sarah had not vaped, she would have been in a better position to fight off the infection, as vaping had left her lungs very weak. So they go all the way down to the last two sentences, Kevin. And nowhere in this article does it say anything about Sarah vaping.
Or finding the device or showing it. Isn't that neat?
But all the way down here.
Sometimes when we read these, or you read these mostly, you might find as an audience that we're not compassionate. And I'll tell you, after having two boys, they've scared me a number of times. And one did have asthma. One had a heart condition at about 6 weeks. And it scared the living shit right out of me. And I was very thankful for Children's Medical Center here for knowing exactly what it was and how to treat it. So it's not that I don't have compassion. It's that I have a very low tolerance for bullshit. That's all. And it sounds, as you've stated, what's the deal here?
Yeah.
That's a lot of words for
the headline. But nowhere in the story did it mention vaping until this is a poorly written article.
And how does a 12-year-old have that and hide it and you can't find it? I don't understand.
It's illegal for them to have it in, in Ireland or England or any part of the UK.
Is it mom's? Did Mummy have one?
But here, Kevin, it says experts are increasingly sounding the alarm, warning against the known and unknown effects of vaping, including shrinking testicles, collapsed lung, vapor's tongue,
just a minute,
and an array of other disorders.
Not for me, not yet.
I don't want to get canceled, so I don't want you showing your tweaking too bad.
No, I just looked. Vapor's tongue. I did an article on it. Steve, House propaganda. Yes, yeah.
No, House is my favorite TV show. Like no, I love the TV show House. My wife says that I'm as curmudgeonly as House is, and I talk down to people like House does. So apparently he's my role model.
I have a very hard time believing half the shit that I read now.
You have to be critical of everything that you read, Kevin. Even if it's advertised as fiction.
The rodent's ears are burning, by the way, just so you know.
Did he tweet at us?
You need to officially and politely invite the young little rodent on.
No, I just did. I said I would love to have him come on the show.
Make his ears burn just a little more.
No, he should definitely come on the show. We should, we need to find as many old farts vaping as we can get on the air.
And how long have you been a rodent? We had Squirrel on. We had Ivana on. Huh?
Yeah. We just scrounge up all the rats and have all the rats.
We love rodents. Vlad, who's disappeared again. That little fucker, he comes and goes. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's out partying with Glance or something. Who knows?
This ought to be fun for you to, Kevin.
Do you feel better? Yeah.
This next one,
your own onions.
This next one, you're gonna love this one, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that you're gonna love it.
You just like to rile me up.
Yeah, this is from BloomTampaBay.com. Bloom Tampa Bay. It says vaping, unveiling the hidden dangers, backed by science.
Backed by science. Mike should be reading that. He should do our headlines. That's what he should.
Poor man, he doesn't have the time anymore. Anyway, vaping has gained enormous popularity over the last decade, especially among younger generations who view it as a trendy alternative to traditional smoking. Despite its risk prevalence, there's a dangerous gap in public knowledge about vaping's potential health risks. This article aims to fill the gap by discussing scientific evidence on the negative health impacts of vaping.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because I've been looking for it. And hey, who doesn't say I'm trendy?
Yeah, I didn't know you were trendy at all, Kevin.
Jesus.
Oh, pause for a minute, Kevin. I have to refill my device with some of this awesome tobacco liquid my friend Peggy acquired for me.
See, yeah,
it's called Sweet Tobacco, and it's from a company called Gentleman's Draw.
Refill your cup, ladies and gentlemen, and hydrate as much as you can with the liquid of your choice. That's the way I see it.
I know not everybody likes tobacco flavors, but
I do.
This one is called Sweet Tobacco, Kevin.
Yeah.
It's not a caramel tobacco or a sugar. There's no fruitiness to it, but it is a sweet tobacco, like a sweeter tobacco.
Good.
So it's not like one of those fruity ones, and it's not like the RY4s and things like that. Anyway, the hidden dangers of vaping, Kevin.
Oh, thank goodness.
The rise of vaping. Vaping was initially targeted as a safer alternative to cigarettes when it hit the mainstream in the early 2000s. Yeah. Since then, the market has expanded exponentially with various devices like e-cigarettes, vape pens, and mods. Studies indicate that younger demographics are especially drawn to vaping with flavors like mango, mint, and cotton candy, luring them in. Common misconceptions about vaping. It's just water vapor. One of the most common misconceptions about vaping is that the users are inhaling just water vapor. In reality, the aerosol produced often contains harmful substances.
Patrick.
I haven't heard it's just water vapor in a long time, Kevin.
If we were inhaling water vapor, we'd drown.
Yeah. We'd get pneumonia. We would be aspirating. We'd get aspiration pneumonia. Now this one, it's a safer alternative to smoking. Another fallacy is that vaping is a healthier alternative to traditional smoking. While it's true that e-cigarettes generally contain fewer toxins than combustible cigarettes, that doesn't mean it's risk-free.
Well, that's pretty well correct.
So how does that sentence those two sentences that you just said, say that it's not safer than smoking? You admit that it has fewer toxic substances. We never said that it was risk-free.
I've used healthier alternative. I have used that.
I mean,
because it is.
A condom is a safer alternative to not wearing one, right, Kevin?
Right.
Yeah.
That is correct.
But it's not 100% either.
No.
You could poke a hole in that. One of your little swimmers could get out. There are no harmful substances in e-cigarettes. Some people believe that e-cigarettes only contain harmless water vapor and flavorings. In reality, many of these contain nicotine and can even be contaminated with dangerous substances like formaldehyde.
Well,
do we have to talk about formaldehyde again, Kevin? The human body excretes formaldehyde.
Well, and depending upon the way you want to track formaldehyde in the exhaling of a vapor is, well, we'll include that too.
I mean, it is a component of your urine. Little droplets of formaldehyde come out with your exhalations.
You already talked about my testicles. Now you're wanting to talk about my urine. Leave me alone.
The science behind vaping, Kevin. When you vape, the device heats up a liquid known as e-liquid or vape juice that usually contains nicotine, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and flavorings. This process creates an aerosol, not mere water vapor, when you inhale. The heating coils and wicks inside the device also play a crucial role in this chemical transformation.
Mm-hmm. And when you light a cigarette...
Actually, Raj, formaldehyde is possible at lower temperatures. Aldehyde, which is really bad, is at 450 degrees. Acrolein at 450 degrees. But formaldehyde is generated at lower temperatures, but at very safe levels. And God forbid they ever did a combustion test on a regular cigarette, because they have all sorts of nasty shit in there, but no. Health risks attached to scientific evidence. Respiratory issues. Numerous studies link vaping to respiratory problems. These can range from mild symptoms like cough and throat irritation to more severe conditions such as bronchitis and even chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, I, as a smoker, when I was a smoker, at least twice a year, I would have to go to the emergency clinic and get a nebulizer treatment and an inhaler and medicine because I had bronchitis. Now, I started vaping. I stopped smoking. I started vaping in December of 2010. And I have not had a single case of bronchitis since then. Now, we know that the vast majority of people, not all the people, but the vast majority of people that are vapors now were smokers. And as smokers, you invited COPD to be a part of your future. Obviously, if you quit young enough, you can get 10 years going. Yeah. You can get away with not having horrible COPD, but everybody that smoked a cigarette did unintentionally invite COPD into their future life. It's possible. There we go. Now Jason is Jason, Kevin.
Now I can't call him Steve.
He changed his name now.
Got my
He's now
eye
Jason.
on you.
Cardiovascular risks. Vaping has been found to have immediate effects on the cardiovascular system, including elevated blood pressure, heart rate, which can be detrimental to long-term health. Now, Kevin, you do know that in the last 3 months, I've had 2 surgical procedures.
Yeah.
And for both of those surgical procedures, I had to have EKGs, like full-blown, like multi-lead EKGs.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that my heart was perfect.
Well, you're heartless, but all right. I'll question.
They didn't actually locate it to make sure that it was, but they said that I had a perfect sinus rhythm, that everything was perfect.
All right.
And I had just vaped before I went in for that test.
You tricky little bastard, you.
I vaped in the car, got to the hospital.
I took
got
it
out,
to
walked into the hospital, waited in line, got my test, and they said, "You can have surgery. Your heart is perfect."
You know, reading these and being on this show, it makes my heart go pitter patter a hell of a lot more than caffeine and nicotine ever have. There.
I did have a big calf pow sort of,
a what?
Caffeine explosion drink before I,
Yeah, sure, of course. Why not?
Iced mocha. Oh my God! Speaking of like
mocha choca
flavors and stuff, my wife has the she's addicted to like air fresheners.
Yes,
and she when Bath Body Works has their little scented that you plug into the wall things, whatever they're called, on sale. She orders like 50 of them at a time.
Oh shit!
Because she has one in every room in the house. Now I have complained enough that she now orders enough that she can change them all together.
Right.
So that at least I don't have 15 cents going on in the house.
It's her house.
It's uniform now, so that it's not like I'm walking through the butterscotch zone into the apple blossom zone into, So the other day I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, what? I said, it's basic bitch time, isn't it? And she's like, what? And I was like, you have the cinnamon spice latte bullshit going on in this house now. And she's like, yes, it's the fall smell.
It's the fall smell. Like, you should get one of them. I don't know what they are, some kind of meters or whatever to check your your dangers in your house, just because you got 15 rooms, probably, right? 10, 15, who knows?
It's not that big.
Do you have a second story?
No. I'm old. That
awesome.
was I put my foot down when we bought a house.
We went from 2 to 1, yeah.
For the Filipinos, it's like a big, huge culture thing. If you have 2 stories, that means you're rich.
No.
Like it's a status symbol in their culture to have multi-story houses. And I said, look, I'm old.
Yes.
And this was 10, 15 years ago when we bought the house. I said, I'm going to be old and I'm not moving again. I'm going to die in that house.
Yes.
And there will not be a second story.
I will not.
Because my grandparents were banished from the upstairs of the house when they got old.
Get off my lawn.
We moved all their furniture downstairs, and
that's right.
One of the living rooms became their bedroom, and for the rest of their life they hated us because we wouldn't let them go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, no, we're getting. I mean, we're getting a 1-story house.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 3,400 square feet, but it's all one floor.
Cuomo's got a job. Hi, Steve.
So, no fucking second floor. Neurological impacts, Kevin. There's emerging evidence that suggests that vaping, especially among teens, could be detrimental on brain development and potentially impacting cognitive function and emotional regulation.
Yeah, every time they get hit with a fucking flashlight, they kind of go, hey, what the hell was that about? And then they start crying because they're in pain and they can't think straight because they got knocked on the fucking head. There, sorry. Go ahead.
Have you been? Is that why your kids are all like potheads and?
Yeah, that's why. Only one is a pothead. He's a doper. I affectionately call him Stoner when I'm.
You got a hippie kid.
Happy. Doesn't matter.
Hippie kid.
He's a stoner. He's the happy stoner, though. You know.
Other systemic impacts.
Systemic. Oh. Man.
Beyond the lungs and the heart, vaping has been associated with negative impacts on the immune system and oral health, with some users reporting issues like gum disease.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Oh,
so
I'm an old stoner. He's a happy stoner. Jason. I was a stoner. Systemic.
Stoner!
Why do you bring this crap in here and just spew it all over the place?
just to get all y'all's riled up.
So you didn't learn a friggin' thing from that, literally. Well, we learned that they're idiots, but other than that,
I mean, they're relying on like
nothing
stuff from like 10 years ago. The water vapor thing. I haven't heard anybody.
It hasn't been
saying anything about water vapor in ever
6 months. Party on, me.
Party on, Garth.
Oh,
I actually have those. I could watch that tonight.
Everybody, you do you. Hydrate.
Just as long as you're not doing each other. I'm just saying, you know, y'all can do that. Don't get me wrong.
Well, what other kind of crap do you have this week? I know I sent you a couple things, but
we're getting there. We're moving around. We're
when I disappear like I did a few minutes ago, I'm just checking on the wife.
Well, that's good. I mean, I want you to make sure that your wife is, you know, not suffering. I mean, she is married to you, so I mean, there is going to be some suffering. But
they don't have anything for that. We asked. Jeez. 30 something years, you know. I don't know. She is my first current wife, though. So
your first current wife?
Yeah, first and current wife. She's my only wife.
I should hope so.
So far, I keep telling her, you know, Stevie Nicks calls, you're out. Like, you can't stay.
Well, all right, let's see. I got a couple videos here. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do this one. Here, let's play this video.
Right.
Vaping rates are up some 73% since 2018. Now, one Pine Belt school district is looking to drastically decrease that number with a new no-nonsense initiative. Our Hannah.
This is W-Damn TV.
Well, no nonsense.
W-Damn TV 7.
Hayes tells us more.
A new policy is in effect now for the Marion County School District. It's a zero-tolerance policy on vaping. Superintendent Michael Day says that the increase each year in people who vape needs to be stopped.
Not just in our schools, but across the nation and across schools, all across Mississippi are starting to see this begin to take a spike to a point where it's becoming almost epidemic.
Partnering with
almost epidemic.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Oh, is this sponsored by?
No.
Okay.
Coalition, the school district has strict regulations in place now against vaping. If you were caught with a vape on school property, you will be placed in a program.
There is a 7-step program that they can go through. There are actually 2. One is more of an introductory, here's what vaping does, and we try to walk them through the stages of breaking, if they have an addiction issue, how to break the addiction. There's texting help hotlines. There's all kind of resources that are available through those agencies.
Students we talk to agree that this program is a good thing, saying vapes have become very distracting over the years.
I feel like it's actually a good thing for the school because it's a distraction in class if the kids want to just leave out of class just to go vape or just be.
So,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, when I went to school,
What ass country fuck is this?
you had to raise your hand.
Yes, you did.
And then when the teacher called on you, you had to say, "Can I go to the bathroom?"
The math is fuzzy.
So now apparently they can just get up and walk out.
I did not know that.
I mean, that's what Miss Zion
Chaos.
here is saying, is that the kids can just
What
get up
Bender
and
say?
walk out, and
It's anarchy. If
it's
she gets up, we
disruptive.
all get up. It'll be anarchy, right? Is that what he said, Bender? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Doing it in class and not paying attention to the teacher.
Other students mentioned help for stopping vaping, especially.
Well, then the teacher should walk up there and kapow. That's what I.
We're not advocating that. We're just suggesting.
Don't hit the kids.
Now
I
we're
mean,
going
I
to
have a whole
Now we're
thread.
gonna-
I have a
we're gonna
whole
drop-
thread on Twitter about
We're going to
beating up.
drop
not,
to number 2. I'm concerned.
not
Calm
beating
down.
up on the kids. However, letting them rule the classroom is not
Listen.
working.
If you got up in our class, there's a couple of teachers that would have put you back down and then asked you
Well-
to ask them. What the freak?
I would have got the full name.
Yeah.
You done fucked up when you get the full name, and I would have been told to sit my butt down until I was
You're gonna have to hold
acknowledged.
it. You're gonna have to hold it, boy. Is probably more of a response than anything.
And
And listen, if you
would have
gotta
been
pee, you
handed,
gotta pee.
you would have been handed the hall pass,
Right.
and the teacher would set an internal timer. Don't make me come looking for you.
What are you doing?
But- Apparently, like the teacher and the superintendent in Atlanta said 2 weeks ago. We don't. These are not kindergartners.
Right.
These are not kindergartners. I don't have time to be,
Right.
peeking in the bathroom.
What's the phrase? The lunatics are running the asylum. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure.
Especially for young athletes.
They shouldn't vape because like other people that also play sports and stuff, like they affect in their lungs, and all the kids that watch them, they affect in their lungs too.
In Marion County, Hannah Hayes, WDAM7, on your side.
Bully your friends. Bully your friends.
W-Damn.
That's right. Tell them exactly what you think. Don't hold out. Just tell them. And if they actually really have to pee, then fuck them.
Well,
idiots.
Like one at a time. Do it in an orderly fashion, and don't be gone for very long because we're gonna come looking for your ass.
It's 38 gazillion, Raj, by the way. The numbers now, the vaping epidemic has reached 38 gazillion. and 4. Now it's 9. Look, it won't stop.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know I said earlier that I wouldn't say anything negative about Florida at the beginning of the show, but
This changed.
Now
Right.
we're in the middle of the show. I can show this story.
Well, plus Nick's not here, so we ain't scared.
Well, Peggy's been silent for a while. She's in Florida as well, but
you scared her off too, didn't you?
But here's the thing, Kev. For the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, for about somewhere 2 to 3 years. All these states have been cashing in on Juul.
Well, yeah, because money.
And now that there's a documentary on Netflix about Juul. Oh, Peggy's still here. Florida has decided to go, oh shit, I better step in now.
Well, because money. It's good.
Ashley Moody says that Juul is targeting children with vaping ads. Now,
Still?
let me ask: Juul is Juul even an actual business entity anymore? I mean, I don't even know. I know that they lost their big money from the big tobacco disappeared. They're no longer.
I don't know.
They got cut loose because they turned around and bought Enjoy instead.
Yeah.
But this week, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody announced that she took legal action against Juul Labs Incorporated, alleging that Juul's advertising practices willfully targeted children in an attempt to induce them to use the company's nicotine products. I'm shaking my head over here going, this is a day late and a dollar short, yo. I mean, they're essentially gone. I think any kids that saw those ads are probably graduated from school now.
Well, now they're vapors, right? Because,
Moody insisted that Juul relentlessly marketed to underage users with launch parties, advertisements using trendy and young models, social media posts, and free samples, and filed suit in the Circuit Court of the 13th Judicial District in Hillsborough County. Now, Juul did that. Juul did have launch parties, and they did use trendy young adult models. They didn't use minors in their. They did use social media, and hell, I received a couple free samples from Juul over the years. There might even
you
be
got them and I couldn't get them. That's not nice.
because I went to events. They actually went to an event one time. They were trying to be friendly to
them fuckers,
to the vaping industry at one point.
I went to one event, so all right, I'll let you slide.
Jeffrey asked if I talked about Big Vape. I'm not going to talk about Big Vape. I think it's a clusterfuck and it was a worthless piece of shit documentary, Jeffrey. Sorry.
Here's my answer. No,
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't.
I'm not going to be
No,
one of
I'm
those
not.
people that are on social media saying how awesome it was. It was a piece of shit. It's such a flawed work that it's not worth my time. I watched the first hour and I was like, there's no way I'm going to sit through the rest of this. This is bullshit. I counted like 50 lies in the first hour.
50. Oh my god.
My god, there was so much bullshit in that. They spent most of the first episode that I watched talking about Plume, which was the pre-Juul product, which was a heat not burn tobacco product.
Hey, start respecting our elders. Ed's in the room.
I'm not watching it. I'm not going to talk about it. It's ridiculous.
I didn't know there was a book, Peggy. I'm actually kind of stunned there is, but all right.
Well, no, the girl that wrote it was a journalist for one of the big. Anyway, she wrote a book about it, and I mean, yes, they did do all those things, but they did them like 10 years ago.
2014, 15.
In Florida is decided to launch a lawsuit against them after they literally they're on the verge of bankruptcy if they haven't already filed bankruptcy.
Patrick, doesn't this make you think? Because I assume you're normal. I assume you can think for yourself, and I'm just going to assume that you're going to follow along. Isn't this just giving a very solid base for what the MSA is and the vaping MSA will be? Isn't that something that you can kind of go, I don't know? Or am I full of shit? It don't matter.
And there will never be a vaping PSA or a MSA.
Well, I don't think full fledged, but I think there's, boy, we really want this to happen kind of shit.
We can't, the vaping, and I mean, obviously the big tobacco affiliate e-cigarette companies could participate in something like that, but any small manufacturer in the United States couldn't even afford the user fees that would be required for them to become.
It's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, the
you don't think?
No.
What I mean is the big 3, 4, 5, however many there are.
I mean, Enjoy could now because they're part of PMI or what Reynolds or whatever company bought them.
It's a groundwork similar to what happened before. That's all. It's similar. It's not the same.
No, I mean obviously
because they don't have enough ground.
The attorney generals of all 50 states filed lawsuits on the basis of health expenditure that was easily provable.
Right. Correct.
Every one of these lawsuits has to do with how they're marketing their product.
Right. Which is bullshit story. But
is bullshit. I mean,
they're going to
Juul specifically
by attorneys.
I mean, they've been abandoned by their big tobacco owner. They're on their own again, essentially, from what I can understand. I haven't seen a Juul anywhere in a long time.
No, I haven't either.
I don't even, like I said, I don't even know if they're an actual corporate entity anymore.
I do not know.
Or if they file bankruptcy, they don't have to make any of these payments to any of these states.
Right.
So, I don't get it, but I just thought it was funny that 3 or 4 years into all of these targeted lawsuits,
right?
Peggy says she still has some. Okay, so maybe they are.
Wow. Okay.
The convenience stores here used to be all Juul. I couldn't find Enjoy anywhere.
Right.
And then it was just like somebody flipped a switch, and the Juuls all disappeared, and Enjoy are now in all the convenience stores here.
See, I rarely go in, but I see signs, and I haven't.
Well, yeah, they have the signs in the doors. But I did go. You remember, I did go in like a year ago, and I bought a whole bunch of Juul stuff just to show you that they're not horrible.
And I'm glad Piggy sells them. Honestly. So
hey, the technology was sound. I just didn't care for their nicotine salt.
Yeah.
But they had at one point a barrel aged whiskey that was okay. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And when they abandoned all of their flavors, that was one of the ones that disappeared. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I just think it's kind of funny that the Attorney General of Florida has decided at this date.
Got to ride the boot somehow, though.
This late in the game, when Juul is pretty much done. Oh, well, we're going to sue them and get one of these $5 million, $10 million, because that's all they're, all these payouts that they're giving these states is.
Hey, Florida, this is massive. You guys
somewhere between 11 and $13 million a piece.
They're all full of shit, Patrick.
Yeah, no, I have never been negative on the product. I've always been negative on the company, though.
Yeah. As have I, to my knowledge. I didn't have a hate on Juul passion for myself, honestly. Whatever works. And I also say that shops don't have to, have a box of patches, box of gum, box of whatever. Who cares? Hypnosis books. Put them in the fucking display case right up front.
People shat on me when I suggested that vape shops start selling other
snus,
products, like snus and toothpicks and nicotine patches. And
I don't know if you know what's weird about the snus to me is well, not weird to me, but it's weird because I tried Red Man when I was a kid, like most my age at that time did, and we had some wintergreen asses with the hole, the holes coming through. But
I
tried the Red Man, and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going into space, and I just didn't like it. So snooze to me, even when I was going to quit, didn't even come up. I didn't really know what it was. I thought you stuck it in your nose. So
now all of my people were snuff in a can people. They were, skull and
yes.
But I myself loved pouch tobacco.
Okay.
When I was a kid.
I tried that too. It didn't work.
Not
Kodiak or something.
No, Kodiak is in a can, but Beech Nut and Red Man were both pouch tobacco. And I put it in there. But I grew out of that. I grew out of that because I didn't like the spitting, and I had a roommate in college that constantly would have a spit bottle, and then he'd walk away, and there was a bottle of spit in the fucking. I hated that. So yeah, but no, I like chewing tobacco. Chow. And then you could get, they even had it that was in a brick that was a plug. And you could just break off plug tobacco. Yeah. But okay, Kev, let's look at our give me a second here. Gotta do this right.
Hold on.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The Vape Cats X of the Week.
That's right. And let me tell you, having this Victor share screen is pretty cool.
Yeah, I already have your tweet up.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's fine.
I already got it up.
That's fine. I found this. Somebody tweeted somebody who tweeted somebody or retweet. I don't remember who I saw it from offhand, but it popped up, and it made my little heart, because I do have one. You go pitter patter. Just pitter, pitter, patter, patter. I don't know who Barbara is. I don't recall ever seeing her before. I don't know why she doesn't smoke or vape. That's her choice, I'm sure. But Barbara, she says she lives in Oklahoma. And although I don't smoke or vape, I support the vaping community because vaping keeps the people I love, personal note, off the cancer sticks. I refuse to lose anybody else I love to cancer or anyone of the other thousands of smoking-related diseases. Now, how often, Patrick, you've been on Twitter X for how long? How many times have you seen someone say that in that way? I don't think I've seen it. Jason, thank you. I did not know that. But I thought, wow, because to me it was some generic, genuine thing that I didn't know that part of it, but that stunned me that I saw it at all. So for whoever alerted me somehow to it,
I think Lindsay retweeted it because her name.
Oh, Lindsay. Okay. So I followed Barbara, and I don't know if she followed me back offhand, but I thought that's a very kind thing to say. That's all. That's
no. I mean, it's heartwarming.
Tweet of the week.
It's
you don't see it. She wants other people to have choices. Look at that.
No, we've seen other similar tweets like this or comments like this. I mean, obviously, the video that we have of oh shit, what's her name? Saying that, is that Victor's wife?
Victor's wife, yeah.
But I mean, she's an affiliate. We know, and you thought this was just some person in general, but yes, that's Green's cousin.
I did not know Jason's information. I did not know that, and
but
I would have
still. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
that she loves somebody that vapes and doesn't vape herself, and she understands that it's safer than smoking, and it's awesome.
And she's in Oklahoma,
where the wind comes screaming down the
I don't remember the name of the song, but
So you went with like a heartwarming.
I did. You know why? Because I'm that kind of guy.
Like sweet.
I know you don't
tweet.
believe me. Yeah.
And I went with them in the complete opposite direction this week.
Big Cat's tweet of the week from Shithead.
My tweet is from Jeff Steyer.
Yeah.
Who we all love.
Oh, Lordy have, oh my goodness, look at that. Be still, bless his heart. Look at that.
So
God.
Jeff, who is a pundit who goes on CNN and Fox News, and he's an expert on public or policy, government policy, and things like that. Jerome Adams has published a book, and he says three lessons from my book. 1, acknowledge our political bias and its impact on our ability to assess public health information objectively. 2, strengthen public health infrastructure by improving data reporting, resource management, and communication. 3, confront and rectify longstanding health inequities that persist in our society. Work towards a healthier and more equitable future. And then there's a link to his book.
This must be a book he borrowed.
So Jeff,
I'll tell you what.
Jeff says, Dr. Adams, to what degree did political bias play a role in your mishandling of tobacco harm reduction?
I so totally missed this, Mr. Steyer. Thank you very kindly for your contribution to my humor.
He posted this at 8:06 a.m. on the 12th of October.
Oh, crickets.
So sometime later in the day at 8:25 p.m. on October 12th, he says crickets from Jerome. So I did take a moment to respond. And I said, he doesn't reply anymore when someone pulls his pants down in front of everyone. Jerome Adams used to reply, but when I pointed out at the beginning of the Valley farce that he should be testing patients for THC, he got all upset about testing patients clandestinely would cause distrust between patients and doctors. I never said to do it without telling the patients. He was confident that minors using THC carts would accurately self-report when they are using illegal products. Mm-hmm. He also ignored an email chain that he was a part of that warned of vitamin E tainted THC carts weeks before the first victim.
Wow. Now I'll say that your subscription paid off there.
I had these words. Yeah. But then Kevin says, great question. And there's an ad for an ugly green giant woman with big boobies. But
I would love.
I'm glad when Steyer,
yes,
who's a suit and tie kind of guy that goes on TV.
Yes,
he's he's on our list of people
he's
that
not
we
a
like.
nut. He's absolutely not a nut. Somebody get me a signed copy of that. It's got to say to Kevin or it don't count. From Dickhead himself. I need to have that in my hand. Then I can have a book burning after I read it, of course.
I mean, now that Jerome is posting on social media daily about wearing masks now.
Is he? Yeah, I got the screenshot.
Daily now he's saying,
the word.
I'm wearing a mask now, even though I'm not supposed to.
Fuck him.
And I'm like,
so all he stands for.
You remember when you said that people shouldn't wear masks? I mean, I'm not getting into the argument of whether they are good or not good, but just remember the idea when he said, as the nation's top doc, that he's not afraid of the COVID at all.
He was
more afraid of the flu.
Everybody's ass.
And people shouldn't be wearing masks.
Now
all of a sudden he's going everywhere saying, hey, look, I'm here wearing a mask, even though I don't have to.
Yeah. He didn't do it in Hawaii when he got a ticket. Yeah. I got the receipts. It's okay.
Yeah. So
I should write a book about his dumb ass.
I'm sure there's a chapter in the book, that we will
Did he say
eventually
it,
do.
Jason?
But
I didn't know if he said it. I thought he didn't.
I never said the C word.
Oh. Well, I was
leave
thinking
that to Paul.
kumquat. You might have heard that. I don't know.
I didn't say the C word. My wife is on the other side of the house, but if that word came out of my mouth, there would be an
You?
R. Pow.
Oh, not that word. No.
I did not say that word.
I'm glad Jerry has a book that he can put on his wall.
I'm surprised that guy can read, to tell you the truth.
Well,
but here's one last video piece before we have to go to the Rumble. Wheels spinning. Wheels on the bus go round.
Well, is always carrying around a highlighter or USB drive. Is it a highlighter or USB drive? It could be a vaping device, hard to recognize for parents and teachers. Now in school, there's a new tool to help detect vaping, and 7 News reporter Lexi Burning goes to Copenhagen Central to learn more.
See, Copenhagen is so popular, they named a school after it, Kevin. That's real country.
Kind of like Salem.
Copenhagen Central School are 2 vape sensors.
We can move them whenever we'd like, and they are not privy to that information.
The school was awarded $2,500 to purchase the sensor.
$2,500 for a smoke detector, Kevin.
That's glorified smoke detector is what it is.
Yeah.
Through the Safe Schools endeavor in partnership with the Northern New York Community Foundation. The school's Youth Advisory Council and parent-teacher organization also chipped in. When a sensor goes off, it sends an alert to the administrator's email and phone.
So let me go back here to this.
Does it have a fart icon on it?
Okay, so it says that if there's a gunshot, it'll detect a gunshot, or if somebody says the word help, vape, THC.
So wait, you can't pray while you're in the bathroom.
Apparently, this one is to detect if the Hamburglar is there.
Is masking like covering it up? Maybe that's possible. Like
or if they're in the bathroom and they're not wearing a mask, and then there's NO2, CO2. I have no idea what TVOC is. Let me Google real quick. What is TVOC?
I don't know, but you can't ask for help, or you can when you're taking a dump, I guess.
Total volatile organic compounds. It's natural gas.
Well.
Okay, so I mean that's useful. We don't want and what is PM 2.5?
Not a clue.
PM 2. Well, I'm gonna Google it real quick. It's just air pollution.
In the bathroom.
Apparently.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times the THC is going to go off as in comparison to the vape. Because they call it the vape. That's good. I like that.
I mean,
nice and short.
Most.
You see, the difference is actually defined there.
Oh,
one is a vape. One is THC. Isn't that neat?
Well, I mean, this is the newer device that Anakin made that Peggy sent me.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, it's twice, if not 3 times the size of a USB drive. That I had one here to compare, but I had to transfer some files to the wife, and I don't have it here anymore. But it's significantly smaller than this, like a third of the size of this.
I've got
I don't know how anybody. I mean, this looks more like a lipstick or like a lip gloss thing than it does a
flashlight. Yeah.
The USB drive. I don't know.
They're reaching.
But anyway, let's keep going here.
Administrator's email and phone. Boucher says it can be hard to tell what is a vape and what is not because of their smell.
For us as staff, it's hard to know, is it a lotion? Is it a body spray? You know.
We'll ban those. Why aren't those banned? Why not?
I mean, kids shouldn't be lotioning and body spraying at school anyway.
And I'm all for this. The minute you catch one of them little shits vaping, they get a big red V and they put it on their sweater. That's what should happen.
Yeah, the scarlet letter.
The vaping
Are they coming
letter.
from PE? What are they doing? Going in the bathroom and spraying themselves with something?
These vapes not only smell discreet, they look discreet and are commonly disguised as school supplies, like a highlighter or even a USB port.
They can vary.
She just said they can't discern what it is. They don't have any idea. And this one says it's discreet. The smell is discreet.
No, she's saying that the item is discreet.
Oh, the item. I thought she said the odor. Oh God, Mallory, please! I had 2 teenage boys.
They all smell.
I didn't come in. I didn't even open the door of this room for like 3 years. And I said, "How can you stand yourself, you little?"
All teenage boys smell.
Oh my God!
And all teenage girls smell, but they smell of overly applied scent.
And condiments sometimes.
I mean, if you go to the mall and teenage girls walk by, it's a pool of like foul-smelling perfumes and ointments and unguents and things that they put all over themselves. Like, animals.
Listen, I'm all for deodorant. That's
deodorant, but like I use a deodorant and you can't smell it unless you put your face right in my pit, and I am not inviting people to do that. Well, but I think we should. Animals put on brightly colored plumage, and they emit pheromones and scents to attract mates. Teenagers should not be doing that. Teenagers are as close to the animal kingdom as animal. I mean, their hormones are all blasted to extreme levels. They shouldn't be offered the opportunity to go on the prowl. I'm just saying. I was a teenager once, I know. Oh. You young kids get off my grass.
Not only smell discreet, they look discreet and are
look discreet.
Commonly
she said
disguised
smell
as
discreet.
Well, yeah, but I think she's meaning in comparison with the BO. And, the other sense that teenagers emit.
There's a way to get around this vaping shit. You fuckers in the industry come up with a BO flavor and scent, and that'll stop all of it right there.
You're off the reservation, Kevin.
school supplies, like a highlighter or even a USB port.
They can very easily be used in schools.
Look, another ginger, Kevin.
She's who is she and why is she on there? What is her point?
Anita Seafried Brown, and she's the project director for the Alliance for Better Communities.
So she's saying we will have better communities if they can get the access compliance.
Get these vaping hooligans out of the community, Kevin.
Alliance for Better Communities, Anita Seafried Brown says the number of students vaping continues to.
Is that an ammo box?
They're using an ammo box to put their vapes in.
That is an ammo box.
I mean, that is a sin. I mean, ammo box is for ammo, yo, and you should only be putting rounds in there. Is all I'm saying. I probably have 10 of those.
Our 2022 prevention needs assessment indicates that students in 7th grade are using at about 7%. Students in 10th grade, it rose to about 15%. And by the time in 12th grade, it is a consumption rate of 17%.
She says many underestimate how dangerous it can truly be.
To finish one vape is the equivalent of a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, careful. Watch your mouth, woman. Don't get lippy. So, Patrick, could you explain to me how these children who are obviously their brain damaged or affected, their bodies, or I don't know what the fuck's going on, but how could they fool these people for all these years?
Because apparently they're evil geniuses, Kevin. These are
my fucking word.
These are like super villains.
This is crazy. I cannot wait for this next generation to come up and just vape all day long.
They got their own. They called us Gen X, right, Kevin? We were Gen X. Well, you were like the boomers, but they called us Gen X. And then the group of
V
after us were like Gen Y, millennials or whatever.
I don't know.
And then there's this new generation is what they're saying everybody should be afraid of.
Gen V, that's right. V.
That they're the ones that are going to ruin everything.
Well, they likely are.
They're going to cause the downfall of American civilization.
It's the brainworms, I'm telling you. I've never seen such.
I've been seeing all sorts of articles about beware of this, whatever. I don't know what the moniker is for this generation, but they're going to change the world, Kevin.
Oh yeah, they are.
Part of that is to they want to. They're all socialists and they want everything for free. But I do know that like every generation criticizes the generation coming behind them.
That's our right. Yes.
So I don't know.
I have little hope.
I don't know. That's why I have so many exit strategies, Kevin.
I went to a graduation. I went to a graduation in 2010 with a niece down in Tennessee. Had a beautiful time. I remember what I was like when I went to my own graduation and then the aftermath. I met approximately 10 or 12 of her peers, and some of them now still are on my Facebook. And those young people, they were some of them weren't 18 yet, I don't think, but those people impressed me so much.
Yeah.
As a group. Now, I'm sure after everybody left and Uncle Kev went to bed, maybe some frivolity happened, but by golly, they were just impressing me all day long during the party. Intelligent conversations, insightful thoughts from their little heads. And I was like, you fuckers are, this is crazy. And then now you just, I got a vape. That's what they do. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
10 years.
I did see a tweet this week from one of our friends that I do love dearly, but I do have to spend a minute if I can find the tweet. If I can't find the tweet, I'll still do it anyway, but I just won't name them.
Patrick.
I'm trying to remember.
You old people just burn my ass.
I don't know that she's young, but I can't find it. But
anyway,
so I saw somebody this week, one of our very good friends who may or may not be in the chat room.
Probably me. That's all right. I don't care.
No, it wasn't you. If it was you, I'd call you out for it. I wouldn't hurt somebody's feelings though. That you all hurt them. I want to hurt. But
yeah, well.
Saw this tweet this week, and this has been sort of the nonsensical BS mumbo jumbo that we as a group have been using for years.
Yeah.
And it's the old hat. There are 11 million of us, and we all vote.
Oh yeah.
So somebody posted that this week, and I'm like, look, I've been in state capitals. I've talked to politicians. We've tried that nonsense, and they scoff and laugh at us every time because we can't point to any election, with the exception of possibly that one guy in Iowa, not Iowa, up there.
Ron something. I don't know.
Yeah, that guy. That
was a half-assed thanks.
That we've been able to ever show that we have any effect on any election.
Right.
Because we tout the fact that we come from every age group, every racial group, every other group, gay, straight, purple, yellow, whatever. And for people of other communities, other than the white, straight vapor group, there are other issues that hold more sway over their vote than vaping does.
Yeah.
So I did this on the Sample Box show about 3 years ago, where I blasted them for using the single issue voter nonsense, because maybe for the straight white vapor group that's true, that vaping is the most important thing, but then there were some dudes in that show that were also gun guys, and for me,
I can't just
if I have a pro-gun, anti-vaping politician, I'm going to vote for the pro-gun guy every time, because the guns protect, the Second Amendment protects everything else.
Ungovernable.
And yeah, the whole idea that we are monolithic and that we are all united in the fact that vaping is the most important thing to us is never going to be. The politicians know it's a joke. We have to get into the idea that we're not as big a threat as we think we are.
It can't. It seemed to be a good idea at the time.
It sounds good at a protest. I vape, I vote, but they're laughing because they know when it comes down to it, we can't get vapors to all agree to write a fucking letter or to send an email. Even when going through CASA's database and their participation, only 15% of the people that are on their mailing list actually respond. And that's a pretty good number compared to others, but it's still only 15%, and they only have like maybe 180,000 people on their list. Maybe. So when we're doing a national thing and we want people to send a letter or to make a phone call, it's still a tiny, and I just, every time I see that, I have to shake my head and go, I know your heart's in the right place, but I've said it before. I've been in the rooms. I've asked politicians, how many people have engaged with your office about this topic? And they'll go, nobody.
Yeah.
So when it's easy, when it's something that they can click on one time to participate, vapors will do that. Vapors will click on a button. Oh, I did my part.
Yes.
And that's the reason why that's one of the reasons why we are where we are. Because when I would sincerely run a national letter writing campaign, and we'd get like 50 to 100 letters sent to different politicians all over the country, that politician needs to be getting 20, 30, and 40 letters. Every politician should be getting that spread out all over the fucking country.
Knocking on the door, visits, meet and greets.
I mean, most people can't take a day off work and go to the state capitol.
Right.
But we've said it years and years and years. If you're in this industry and your politician doesn't know your name, then you've failed as a business owner, regardless of what business you're in. If I was Steve and I owned a funeral home, I don't know if Steve actually owns a funeral home or Jason owns a funeral home, but if I owned a funeral home, if I owned a business, every politician in my district would know my name, because I want to know. I want you to know where my money's going. I want to know that if I need to, and there's an issue, that you know my name, and I'm going to call and say, hey, this is the pallbearer, the mortician guy. I'm coming in. I need to talk to you. You want to check for your campaign? Let me meet with you. But yeah, so many people failed to do that. I don't have time to close the shop and go over there and sit in the city council meeting and participate in this. This is why we're fucked.
You'll have time later to close that shop.
Yeah, their shop will
That's
be
been proven, sadly.
But anywho, Kev, we have a really good topic for the Rumbles.
Yeah, the Rumble and the Bumble and the Tumble.
And if you care at all about
how mad Patrick can make me, you'll follow us over there.
About freedom and choice and and not.
I saw this. I perused it. Just
here's the Rumble link back in the thing. Excuse me.
I'll give him a teaser. Think of swatting, and now we're going to go over there.
You're going to love this. Oh, somebody said, put it on X. Put it on X. Hey, there.
I think we riled up the rodent. I like that. His ears were burning. Steve, I find myself singing disco in the middle of the shopping center sometimes. I just go, what? And when I'm singing Culture Club, it pisses me off, but I do it anyway. So, yeah, come on. Patrick can't type and listen to me at the same time.
I'm listening. Did you see me cock my head like this?
I did. I had the Bee Gees' greatest hits, by the way.
I don't know. I
still do, actually. I still got that.
I was listening to 68 Comeback Special, man. That was.
Oh.
And I got the box set, so it's like 4 hours long. Like it's the rehearsals, it's different takes.
Record?
No, I have it all on audio. On MP3. I bought it from Amazon.
Gotcha. Elvis was man. He knew how to sing.
That's when Elvis was still he got into shape. He did a whole they did it in the round. So the audience is all the way around the stage. Part of the show he's sitting down and it's more simple, and then he gets up and he kicks ass.
I was a twinkle by then. Yeah, I was 68. Yeah.
68, I wasn't even I wasn't even I
was breathing.
Not even a twinkle of a twinkle.
Well,
I was 4 years before I was born. But that's back in the day when the networks would have like a whole concert on TV.
Yeah.
I can remember the Aloha from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Remember they did that? But anyway, Kevin, how do you want to say goodnight to our friends over here in YouTube land that won't go to Rumble?
I want everybody to hydrate and consider their choices about going to Rumble. That's what I want them to do. And I love them anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Way more than you. I don't like you. Fucker.
I'm trying to find a short video here.
She's going to click the button. You better go.
All right. We're going to go out with this Gen X thing because I was talking about the Gen Xers a while ago. All right. See you in 2 minutes over there.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Why aren't we talking about those guys?
My good sir, first and foremost, let me say thank you for acknowledging the existence of Gen X. You see, we of course are the forgotten generation, and for the most part, everyone ignores that we exist, or they just want to leave us alone and not mess with us at all. Now, to answer your question, who let Gen X off the hook? Well, I don't exactly see it the same way as you. I don't think we were let off the hook at all. I think that no one wants to mess with us. And there are two main reasons for that. Number one is you're all dependent on us in one way or the other. The boomers, as they get older, get ready to retire, probably transition to Valhalla soon, they become more and more dependent on us as the days go by. And they also know in great detail what kind of a monster they created, and they're not ready to stick their hand in that bear trap. The younger ones, well, you've never become independent from us, relying on us for everything from your cell phone bills to your insurance, or even sometimes the roof over your head. And why would you bite the hand that feeds you? Now, the second part, and probably the scarier part, is what we Gen X are. We are the most rabid and feral generation ever. You see, the way that we were raised, forced into this place called the outside, we were left to our own vices to learn how to survive. And because of that, we've become inventive and creative in all aspects of our lives. And as far as our methodologies, some of them probably don't align with that of the Geneva Convention. And yes, we did want to live our lives just like William Wallace was, to be a farmer, to be left alone in some far-off place. But of course, if you invite us into a battle, we will come, and we will probably obliterate you in methods that you don't want to experience. So,